Joining me now is Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. He's a member of the Senate Banking Committee. Senator, great to see you again. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Good morning, Maria. Great to be with you.
So
Thanks.
tell us, you've got so much on the table here. You've got the government funding, obviously, the continuing resolution. You've got Reconciliation 3.0. You've got the Clarity Act, Russia-Iran sanctions, Farm Bill. What's the priority this week?
Right now, and as you mentioned, we're going to stop Chuck Schumer from shutting the government down yet again. It seems to be the Democrat playbook. They lose at the polls. The next thing they do is create chaos here in America. Schumer's already shut the government down since President Trump took office, since the Republicans took the gavel here in the Senate twice, two record-setting times. I think Americans can remember the chaos at the airports, the TSA lines. In fact, shutting down DHS, Department of Homeland Security, at a time when we're in a conflict with Iran, how irresponsible. So we're going to block that. We're going to prevent Schumer from letting that sort of chaos unfold ahead of the midterms. Then we've got to turn our attention, I think most importantly, to the reconciliation bill, where we've actually budgetized the Save America Act. We need to get this passed. You've had many people, even today on your show, commenting about the importance of this. Americans want to see this. Then we've got to move on to Russian sanctions. Lindsey Graham, may God bless him, he worked very hard to get this done. I think this could be one of the final pieces, one of the final steps to bring resolution to what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. We need to focus on that. The Clarity Act, you know how much work I put into the Genius Act,
I know.
the stablecoin legislation. As we move into the digital arena, we need to have responsible legislation in place, and the Clarity Act, again, is front and center. We need to turn our attention to that as well. So there's a lot to get done, but I think the absolute first priority is to prevent this shutdown and the chaos that would ensue.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see us moving forward on that.
And I understand the CR urgency because they will shut the government down when funding runs out at the end of September. I get that. But what's the problem in the Senate that is keeping so many things backed up? I mean, there are questions surrounding the state of the August recess, Thune prioritizing government funding and the Russia sanctions bill, but offering little clarity about what else is on the table, Senator. You say you want to stay in Washington until you can pass the Save America Act, but we're hearing your colleagues are raising concerns about vulnerable senators needing to return home to campaign. And they also, John Thune told me directly, he does not have the votes for Save America Act. So what is the likelihood of you actually getting that across the finish line?
I actually think that we're going to have to listen to the public on this one, Maria. As I go home, I just got back from Tennessee over the past weekend. Americans want to see us pass this act. They want election integrity, and this is not a partisan issue. Every American, this is an 80% plus issue. They want to see it get done. I think we're going to have to find a way to do it. I understand the reluctance of some of my colleagues because this opens up a process. This budget reconciliation process opens up this unlimited amendment process where the Democrats will have us voting against Santa Claus, against Christmas, against apple pie. You name it. We're going to have to lock arms and stand strong, take the tough votes, and get our way through this. But I think it would be very, very challenging for us to go back to our constituents and tell them that we didn't give it our very best to get this done, and I think that we can do it.
Well, I mean, it seems to me that there are, just personality issues against President Trump in the Senate in certain pockets, Senator. I mean, do your colleagues understand that the more you get done, the more likelihood you will get more support in the November elections? I mean, what are you expecting there? You and your colleagues raising the alarm over Verizon's handling of subpoenas for lawmakers' phone records as well during Operation Arctic Frost. And I want to get to this because Verizon acknowledging it omitted Special Counsel Jack Smith's subpoena from a congressional records search, which Verizon blamed on, quote, human error, Senator. Your phone records were turned over to Jack Smith. Tell us what happened and where this situation stands today.
Well, I want to find out what happened, and it's unbelievable. I've been a Verizon customer for decades, Maria. And what happened was Verizon decided to violate the Constitution. I'm a sitting United States Senator. But because I'm Republican, I presume, they're more than willing to cooperate with Joe Biden and Jack Smith in the midst of an unconstitutional search of our records. AT&T blocked it. They wouldn't do it because they knew it was against the Constitution. Verizon decided to move right ahead with it. Their chief executive officer, their chief legal officer have dodged every question. Even the chief legal officer even decided to skip her hearing on this topic. So we need to put both of them under oath and ask them some tough questions. You think about it. Verizon was looking at a $20 billion acquisition of Frontier. That was in the pipeline. Did they feel like they had to engender some sort of favor with the Biden DOJ so they'd get that approved, and therefore our constitutional rights as senators, they'll just violate them? I'd like to know the answer to that. You know, was Verizon's chief legal officer, and you'll get this, Maria, Verizon hires her from the staff of one of the most partisan, viciously partisan Democrats to ever serve here, Henry Waxman from California. Did she stop being an operative, or was she still working for the Democrat administration as she handed over our records? I'd like to get to the bottom of why Verizon would violate the constitutional rights of multiple senators. Is it because we're Republican? Because only Republicans had their constitutional rights violated here. We need to get to the bottom of it. And corporate America has got to realize that they're going to be held to account when they engage in this sort of partisan political activity at the expense of their customers' rights.
So the Biden administration used corporate America to turn on their political enemies. I mean, what specifically did Jack Smith want to know from your text messages and your phone? What knowledge was he expecting to find?
It's hard to say what he was looking for, but he wanted a massive witch hunt. And it seemed that it only turned on whether you're Republican or not. And it may only turn on whether you're an ally or a friend of this current sitting president. Again, his enemy clearly was Donald Trump, and those of us that were his allies were the ones that he felt like he had, an open hunting license to go out and pursue anything and everything that he might to try to turn on us, to try to make our lives uncomfortable. And the fact that you had a company like Verizon colluding with Jack Smith, colluding with the Biden DOJ, and handing over Republicans' records. Again, let's find out why. Was it to curry favor? Was it to get a $20 billion acquisition through? Was it to get an appointment for the chief legal officer in the Biden administration? We don't know the answers to these questions. That's why we need to put them under oath. That's why they need to stop obfuscating. I put a formal complaint to them. They've got till August the 11th to answer these questions. Let's see if they do.
So have you heard back in terms of getting them under oath?
All we hear from Verizon is talk to the hand. They assign things to underlings. They've done everything they can to dodge and obfuscate. So we're going to keep pressing. And now that I've got Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson on my side to press this, we've got the full weight of the Judiciary Committee. I think we've got oversight powers now. We'll bring them in. We'll haul them in.
Okay. Well, we'll be watching you work on that. You're right. This is outrageous to so many. So, Senator, we're going to follow your work on that. Real quick before you go, I know that the Clarity Act did not appear on the Senate's calendar for the final legislative week before recess. It's been held up in the Senate for over a year. What can you tell us about the status of this bill? You've worked so hard on the Genius Act. Do you think the Clarity Act will make it?
We're going to have to pass the Clarity Act. There's no way that we can allow the United States to fall behind in the digital assets arena. Everything is moving digital around the world. The Genius Act was a major step forward to make certain that the digital dollar remains dominant in the world. But we need to follow it up with the remainder of the market. We're going to have to pass the Clarity Act. I think the problem is, will we be able to pass this with Democrats right now, or are they going to let midterm politics get in the way? I think we should just put it to a vote on the floor of the United States Senate and find out where the Democrats stand.
Yeah. And how are you feeling about the midterms? Unbelievable that the Democrats' big donors have gone on strike. They are not putting any new money to work here.
It's hard to believe that they would actually put money into a program that's so definitely against anybody that's pro-capitalist. And if you look at what's emerging across the country with the Democrat socialists that seem to me, Maria, to have taken over the Democrat Party, I can imagine how distasteful this would be for any donor to try to support a party that has moved this far to the left. I feel very good about the midterms, Maria. You think about the process that's been underway this year with all the redistricting, the Republicans have come out ahead. The battleground states are narrow in the House, and I think we've got a much better message. As you look at the candidates, I'm not talking about just indiscriminate polling, Democrats versus Republicans, specific candidates and what they're saying, we look very good.
All right, we'll leave it there. Senator, we'll be watching all of that.
Thank you,
Great to
Maria.
see you this morning, sir. Thank you. Senator
Likewise.
Bill Hagerty on Capitol.